everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. Just came in today to do a bit of celebrity tea. And the first ones up are Tamar and Vince. Now, I know by now you guys have all heard the rumors that these two may be headed for divorce. This story was first reported by B. Scott, and basically what the details are this. Apparently, Vince has some suspicions about Tamar, and he hired a private investigator. Now, allegedly, he received some information back that led him to actually confront Tamar. And from what the reports are saying, this confrontation took place in front of a group of people. Now, they're saying that the confrontation got so bad that Vince and Tamar actually paid the people that witnessed it to be silent about it. Now, I don't know how true this is. A lot of people have questioned a pretty girl like Tamar, actually even being with Vince due to his weight. But here's what I think about that. I think those two actually cared about each other. Now, what may have started out in the beginning as a bit of admiration on Tamar's part for Vince because he was in the music industry, I think it actually grew to her loving him. And, I only hope that it is not true, because also in that report, it is saying that Vince is wanting full custody of their child, Logan. And I think, if it is, that would really, really destroy Tamar even further, to lose her child, her husband. Just a few months ago, or a month or so ago, she lost her job on The Real. And I think if if these reports are true, for her to actually be in a position where she could lose her child would just be too much. So my hope is that this is not true, because sometimes when you deal with a quiet guy like Vince and you have crossed them, where they were nice and quiet, they could switch to, your worst enemy. And I think that if Vince has found out that, his wife has cheated on him, I think he would use all of his power to really hurt her. And I know we talk about Tamar. Hey, I'm not a Tamar fan myself. But things like this can really go left with someone quiet like Vince. So, for the sake of Logan, I would hope it's not true. And if it is, they could separate without Vince taking Logan from Tamar. Because again, I think, losing her job on The Real, losing him, I think that would all pale to losing her child. And maybe that's why Vince is fighting for full custody, because he knows that that would destroy her. So we'll be looking for this story to expand a little bit, to find out, first of all, if it's true. And then secondly, if Vince is playing dirty, well, not dirty because that's his child too, but really, really trying to tear her apart. I don't know, y'all. Sometimes, like they say, what's done in the dark, that shit comes to light. And if this is true, then Vince has caught her red-handed. The next one up is D.L. Hughley and Fox Network's Megyn Kelly. So recently, D.L. Hughley was invited to the Fox Network. And he was going there, of course, to talk about the recent killings that are, going on in America. Now, right before D.L. Hughley came out, they had Mark Fuhrman. Now, if you remember that name, he was the police officer in the O.J. Simpson trial who later, they found out had perjured himself during the trial. So D.L. Hughley kind of made a comment like, um, I don't know how he could be on here talking about anyone is a liar when he perjured himself during a trial. So that set the tone of this discussion that he and Megyn Kelly were going to have. So DL talked about how we watch these videos of police officers killing these black men, and they have a presumption of innocence, and the black man does not. He went on to say that, after the killing, people will say something like, we don't know what happened before or after. And then Megyn Kelly like chimed in, you're making assumptions because you really don't know what happened. And basically DL Hughley told her, you know what your eyes see, in so many words. Now that resulted in an argument over the facts of some of these cases that are out here, like Philando Castile, Philando, his case, Castile, and the Alton Sterling case. And then at one point, D.L. Hughley, after listening to some of the stuff that Megyn Kelly was saying, he just simply sat back and said, wow, you know how Fox Network is. They're, in my opinion, very racist. And when he said, wow, Megyn Kelly said something like, don't wow me. And D.L. Hughley told her, look, I can say wow if I want to. Don't tell me what to say. And, they went on. They were going back and forth. And basically, I guess the word, racist and Fox came up. And Megyn Kelly took, she was upset about him saying that Fox Network was racist. And D.L. Hughley told her the only place racism doesn't exist is Fox News and the police department. This little back and forth between these two became very heated. And what they forget when they invited D.L. Hughley, not only is D.L. Hughley a comedian, but D.L. Hughley is a very intelligent and aware comedian. If you ever listen to his show, D.L. Hughley talks about all these issues that are going on in the world. He has his listeners call in and has an open discussion. So I don't know who they thought they were inviting. I guess they thought they were going to invite DL and he was going to let them talk over him, or they were going to make him look silly or something. But they were fucking with the right one. Don't they know that he was one of the original kings of comedy? And if you ever been to a D.L. Hughley show, D.L. Hughley is one of those comedians that he cuts on the lights in the auditorium when he's performing, and he picks people out the audience, and just on the rip he will tear them apart. So Fox was fucking with the right one when they invited him on. And Megyn Kelly got the surprise of her life because DL did not allow them to make him look like a fool. And basically he told it like it was. And that bitch ended up ending that segment because she knew she couldn't get a word in edgewise. So I say, all right, DL, shut him down. Okay, everybody, the last one up is Stevie Wonder. And you guys are probably wondering why I would do a bit on Stevie Wonder. You're probably saying, what has he said or done with his old ass that could be of any interest to us? Well, Stevie Wonder was over in London and he was giving a concert for 65,000 people. Stevie Wonder was singing his song, the one that's called Songs in the Key of Life, and he got caught up in his feelings. And he started talking about all of the police brutality in America, all of the recent killings, and he said that this song was still relevant and it made him sad. Now, if you remember correctly, Stevie Wonder has always been a strong supporter of civil rights. Back in the 70s, he marched and was on the front line, unlike some of these celebrities today. Stevie Wonder even was arrested during the 80s when we were helping South Africa fight for their rights during apartheid. Stevie Wonder was arrested, and I remember seeing him being arrested, and he had a fur coat on. So he's always been involved in the movement of the black people. So he's over in London speaking to this audience, knowing that this is going to get back to America. So he says Black Lives Matter. And they matter to him because those are the ones that are being killed now. Stevie Wonder then went on to say that all people stemmed from black people and that they needed, meaning white people and I guess any others, needed to stop denying their culture. He then ended by saying, when the audience was stunned by what he was saying, that if they didn't like it, fuck them. Okay? He told them, fuck y'all. Because every life on this earth stemmed from Africans. I just was outdone. Now, Stevie didn't stop. He continued on playing. And again, I just think that Stevie Wonder was in his feelings when he was talking to this audience because he just left America with all this shit going on. And he couldn't get it out of his head. And then I know when he was standing there talking to this audience, they didn't know where he was going with all of this stuff. He even went on to say, now we know these people over in London are not voting in any of our elections. He told them to get in touch with their politicians to get all this bullshit stopped. Talking about, these recent killings. Now, the reason why I brought Stevie Wonder up is because this is a lesson to some of these young performers out here today. Back in the day when we were fighting for civil rights, celebrities joined that fight. They didn't stand on the sidelines, maybe, doing a song like Beyonce or making some tweets showing their support. They actually got up off their asses, left their mansions and all of that, and they came down and stood in line and linked arms and marched and got arrested because they're black too and they wanted to be a part of that. I just applaud Stevie Wonder, for even saying anything. He even ended, his whole little speech by saying that he was a blind man. And even though he was blind, he could see all of the stuff that was going on in America and knew that it was wrong. And that he only hoped that other people could see it. So for me, Stevie Wonder is an old ass bastard. He's my mother's age or older, but you know what? I gotta take my hat off for him to even be speaking up because Stevie Wonder could just stay silent, but he didn't. He over in another country still thinking about what's going on in America, still trying to speak out in his own little way. So again, I just really tip my hat to him because I think that's showing your support to the cause. And with that, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful day and thanks for listening.